So good afternoon, friends. Yesterday we had discussion about how to develop research proposal, and basically uh, we Professor Ashutosh Pradhan discussed about different aspects and different components involved in a proposal, and also he guided how to collect data, how to frame a sample, all these things. And today, Professor Pradhan will basically elaborate uh, the design of interview schedule or questionnaire schedule, and along with that, he will also guide us how to collect data from the field. So I welcome all the participant in the meeting, and I also welcome our honorable speaker, Professor Ashutosh Pradhan, Central University, Himachal Pradesh. Uh, uh, Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, dear participants, um, I'm sure you might have listened to whatever presentation was made yesterday. That was basically a lecture, and it was on a fast track mode. Today we'll go a little bit slow because today we'll be almost working in a workshop mode. But I'm not sure whether you have your laptops and computers before you. Even if you do not have it, but at least if you go slow, you can pick up whatever I'll be speaking about. And later on, in between, also, not at the end of the lecture, in between, also, I'll be giving you scope to uh, seek clarifications. If you have any doubt, then we can discuss. So, one step at a time, we'll go and then we'll take up your queries so that you do not have further queries and we move ahead. So today I'll be covering briefly something about the tools of data collection. Yesterday we discussed that the tools could be many, out of which uh, the most prominent ones are interview schedule, where the interviewer accompanies the schedule. He goes to the field, has the paper schedule, or nowadays we use uh, tabs or mobiles where the software is inbuilt, the questionnaire is in the form of a software designed separately. So you simply have to input the data. Mostly the data would be in the form of predetermined answers, out of which you'll have to choose a particular answer. So uh, when you go to the field with a particular tool to collect data, it is referred to as the interview schedule. Or if you send it by post, or if you go to the respondent and deliver the schedule, or it is also called as the questionnaire. So the questionnaire, you deliver it at the residence or at the office where the respondent is, and you again go back, give them some time of, let us say, 2 or 3 days or a week, so that they fill it up. If it is a lengthy one, you may give them 1 week time, or if it is a single page, then you can give them half an hour and they will fill it up, and you wait for some time and they'll return it. So a questionnaire often is referred to as a mailed questionnaire when it is sent either by post, or if it is delivered by hand, or use nowadays in the modern age, you send a questionnaire through email, or you design a Google form sort of thing and send it to the respondents. For that, you need to collect the email addresses beforehand. So another tool of data collection is a scale. There are many other about which yesterday we had discussed, but today we will limit ourselves to the interview schedule. So then we will go forward after you have seen what does a tool look like, and after you have gone to the field and collected the data by using an interview schedule, or the questionnaire, filled in questionnaire, is either collected by you or it is returned by the respondent by post. So nobody is going to spend his or her own money to go to the post office, spend money in dispatching the questionnaire. So for that, normally what we do is that we send a filled in uh, a filled in envelope where all the address details would be written, and a stamp set of stamps also would be pasted if it is 50 rupees or 25 rupees. So that stamp, you will have to paste it on the envelope, and a sample you will have to weigh it in the post office, and the post office people will weigh it and tell that this much amount of stamp will be required. So accordingly, if you send it to 10 people and if the cost is 50 rupees, let us say, it doesn't cost that much also. So if it is, let us say, 50 rupees and you have to send it to 10 people, so 500 rupees you will have to spend. So that is how the questionnaire you send it. For that you spend money if you send it by post, and it will come back also. At times it so happens that you have sent 10, only you get back 5. So there is a lot of attrition or dropouts are there. So you lose your money also, and you lose your data also. Data isn't collected and it doesn't reach you. So these are some of the pitfalls in undertaking research. You should be aware about the advantages and disadvantages of the various tools that you can use for data collection. So often it is said that the best thing is to use an interview schedule. Uh, if your area of operation is not very vast and the number of uh, people from whom you are collecting data also is not very huge, and if you are a single person who is collecting the data for, let us say, your PG dissertation or MPhil dissertation or PhD dissertation, so you will have to weigh in the advantages and disadvantages of the tool which would be the most appropriate, and accordingly you'll either go to the field or you'll send it through post or through email, or use a Google form in order to send by email to or WhatsApp to the people concerned from whom you want to collect the data. So beforehand you need to have the email addresses. So after that, you receive all the data, the interview schedules are filled up, and you um, edit the data that you have collected, fill up everything on a daily basis at the end of the day. If it's a questionnaire, some of the questions may not be answered. So you'll have to have a phone number, you'll have to call back and then ask what is the answer for a specific question that has been blanked out or that has been left out. So this process of editing of the data you'll have to do. And after that, mhm, after the editing part is completed, then the or beforehand also you can prepare the code book or the code sheet, and this process is what is referred to as coding. I'll show you the code book, a sample code book, how it is, code sheet, how it is done. Some questions I have prepared, the codes, and you'll get an idea as to what the code is. what should be the code book like, and how the codes should be given or assigned. And if you are not using codes, what pitfalls will be there? What would be the disadvantages? That also I'll give you some sample, and you will find it very interesting. Especially, I've used the data that you have entered for registration for this series of lectures or for this workshop. Got it? So, when you are coding, you need to classify the data. Like you have collected the actual age, let us say, for example, and the actual age needs to be converted into age groups. So, in which age group a particular respondent falls, accordingly, you will have to give the codes, and the codes only you should be entering in the data sheet or the spreadsheet or in the Excel format. So after that is done, you enter all the data in the in MS Excel, because we we had communicated to all of you that will be only covering Excel in this round. SPSS maybe on some other day, maybe after a month or so, we'll be taking up SPSS also. But for the time being, MS Excel I'll be covering, so that you get a brief idea as to what is an Excel sheet like and how to enter the data. And when you enter the data, how it looks like. Then the most important part of data analysis is the preparation of the tables, which is referred to as tabulation. And you use pivot tables in MS Excel to generate the uh, tables or convert the data into systematic tables from which you can make interpretations. And after that, um, or in the process, you will develop some tables which are for univariate analysis or multivariate analysis or bivariate analysis or multivariate. Univariate analysis, yesterday I had said that only you are using one variable, and bivariate means you are using more than one, means two variables, and multivariate means you are using uh, more than one variable, so two three variables also you can use for analysis. But it will become more and more complex when you are using in a single table more than two variables, and at times you will not be able to understand how to understand what the table wants to in fact communicate to you. So it's better that you limit yourself to maximum three variables. By the way, what is a variable? A variable is something that changes. Like sex is a variable because sex can be either male or female or others. And age is a variable because people or respondents would be of different ages. Like all of you who are attending the lecture or session today, all of you may be belonging to different ages. And if we convert it, all these ages into age categories, then we will be able to scientifically, systematically, and scientifically present the data in tabular form. So we'll take up some of the examples so that you can understand what exactly it means. So a variable is one that can change. So income also, it changes from person to person. It will be different from one person to another. Opinions, they also matter a lot, and they would also differ from person to person. If there are different opinions, different suggestions, different viewpoints, how to collect all these, compile all these information or all these variables for each of the question, how to codify them, or how to assign codes to them, and how to prepare the tables, generate the tables using pivot tables in MS Excel, that we'll be discussing briefly today. I may not cover the charts, or we will see if there is time, then some data we'll be using to develop the the one or two at least charts. So charts could be pie chart. It's in the form of circles, and the circle is divided into different categories, different aspects, or based on different variables. And you have the bar chart, or it is also called as histogram, or you have the line chart, where you can go for a trend analysis. If the rates of um, let us say tomato, it is changing over a period of time, means every week there is a price increase or a price decrease, or at time there would be an increase and there would be a decrease. So when you plot all these data that you have collected, what is the average price of tomato this week, and what is the average price of tomato the second week, the third week, so on and so forth, then you can plot this average price eh, of every week on a in the form of a line chart. So that will help you to understand how the price moves according to different weeks, and what could be the reasons for that. Also, you'll have to collect appropriate data and information so that you can correlate. So in statistics, yesterday I forgot to mention that there is a formula called correlation, where two or more variables are uh, related, or whether there is a relationship between two or variables, that you try to find out using the Carl Pearson method, or there are two or three other methods also. So you use statistical tool in order to assess whether there is a relationship between two or more variables, and which is the cause and which is the effect. Like, let us say there are two variables. So, for example, education and income, whether education influences income or income is influencing education, there is a relationship you will come to know by using correlation statistical tool or technique. But which variable is influencing the other variable, you will come to know by using regression analysis, which is a statistical tool or a statistical technique. So let us move ahead now. So there are here are some interesting titles. The first one is an plain one, an ordinary one: Challenges in Old Age and Care of the Elderly, a study in rural Odisha. So this is how you will have to frame the title of your research. So challenges, what do you mean by challenges? You need to know, you'll have to explain it as part of the operational definition of the terms used. And what is old age? Will you call somebody who is of the age of 45 in that he or she is in old age? Yes or no? If no, then you'll have to spell out what do you mean by old age? Whom will you consider as elderly people? And what is care? What do you mean by care? So, what are the different dimensions of care? That also you'll have to spell out. And what do you mean by rural Odisha? Odisha, all of us know it is a state, and a rural uh, area, you'll have to limit your study only to the rural population. So this is a title. And the next title is very interesting: Billions of Drops in Millions of Baskets, Why Philanthropy Doesn't Advance Social Progress. But you need to spend time in order to understand what this title wants. It's a very complicated title, but it's an interesting title. So at times you will find that some of the books, which you popular books you find in the bookstalls, have such titles also. So your title of your thesis could also be interesting, but if it is in the excitement to develop a very interesting title, you may make it so complex that whoever reads it may find it difficult to understand what exactly you want to do. So the second title may be an interesting title. It may appeal to many of the readers, but they may find it difficult as to what exactly it means. But the first one is very clear, and you can easily communicate to the reader as to what exactly you want to do in this research. The third is Succeeding at Social Enterprise, Hard Won Lessons for non-profits and social entrepreneurs. Here also there are two terms, technical terms. One is social enterprise, and the other is non-profit, and the third is social entrepreneur. So a person who is an entrepreneur, it means something else. Uh, and when you refer to another person that he is a social entrepreneur, the meaning is different. An entrepreneur is different from a social entrepreneur. So, and an enterprise, business enterprise, is different from a social enterprise. So, you need to know as to what is the difference between social entrepreneurship and simple entrepreneurship. And you need to also know what is the difference between a business enterprise and a social enterprise. So, whenever you are framing any title, all the words that you are using in the title of your research or the topic, you need to be very clear about it. And under operational definitions of the term used, you'll have to define it properly. Next. So this is what uh, is an interview schedule that looks like. So you have the title of the research, like challenges in old age and care of the elderly, a sociological study in Himachal Pradesh. I've carried it from somewhere. Then you say that Namaskar, and you communicate that I am a research scholar from, let us say, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, doing a research study on the topic so and so. I would therefore request you to kindly give your consent. You are asking for the consent for undertaking an interview, to fill up an interview schedule and providing responses or answers to the questions or statements. Then you also say that I earnestly request you to give information related to personal profile. So what are the different types of data you are collecting? Briefly, you are making a mention. If it's a questionnaire, then this has to be written down. If it's an interview schedule where you are there, you need not read it out. You simply briefly mention it, because since you have practiced it during your pre-testing of the tool or the interview schedule of data, for data collection. So already you might have got into the habit of expressing as to what is the research there you are undertaking and what sort of data you want, and how respectfully you need to speak to the respondent from whom you want to collect data. That also you might have become accustomed to. So then in your interview schedule, it is not required that you write down the objectives or the aims and objectives of the study. If it is an questionnaire, a mailed questionnaire, then you should write down the objectives, because that will give the reader or the respondent as to what exactly you want from this particular research. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, you will have to mention the objectives. But as such, in most of the tools of data collection, these objectives are not written down. It is there in the proposal, research proposal, that you have submitted to your faculty supervisor or to the department. But it is not essential that you need to have it in your interview schedule or the questionnaire. So we move to the next slide. That is, this is how an interview schedule looks like. So your interview schedule or your questionnaire may be divided into various sections. So the first section often refers to the personal information of the respondent. So here you have name of the respondent, sex, age, then the background, then the address, then educational qualification. Here you see, I hope all of you can hear me clearly. So here you see that under sex you have male and female. Already it is coded. Male refers to one and female refers to two. And social background, urban refers to one, two is semi-urban, so code 2 is assigned to semi-urban. Rural is code 3 and tribal is code 4. So this is how you can also incorporate the codes into the tool of data collection. Got it? So likewise, under 1.6, you have educational qualification, read up to which class, and you have assigned the codes also, whether it is non-technical or whether it is technical. So if it is non-technical, non-formal education code is 1, primary code is 2, and for secondary code is 3, so on and so on and so forth. And under technical, if somebody has read up to or gone for technical education, if somebody has gone for technical education, then what sort of technical education? So if it is engineering, it is 1 code you have assigned already in the tool. Medicine, it is 2, and if it is law, it could be 3. If it is social work, it could be 4, or similarly any other professional technical course. If somebody might have read or studied, so that accordingly you can frame the answers well in advance, so that you need not write down each and every answer. You simply either encircle or simply tick mark the appropriate answer which has been said by the respondent. So you have 1.8 as caste category, where again it has been codified. General is 1, OBC is 2, SC is 3, ST is 4. So you see that the tool of data collection and the code book is one and the same thing here. So this is how you need to design your interview schedule or your questionnaire or your tool of data collection in such a manner that some of the work is not repeated. So you need not develop a separate code book for this purpose, because you have already done a pre-testing, you have already done a pilot study, and you know now as to what could be the different classification of the data that you are supposed to be collecting. So you know well in advance beforehand what could be the different type of responses you will be getting. So accordingly, you do the coding beforehand and you incorporate that in the interview schedule or the questionnaire which you will be using for collecting data. Likewise, marital status, you see, married, divorced, widow or widower, and separated. Nowadays, you will have to add a live-in relationship. That could be the fifth code that you will have to assign to such a relationship. Okay, so married is 1, divorced is 2, widowed or widower is 3, separated is 4. So another you add is a live-in relationship, that would be 5. Okay, so this is how you go about in framing the questions and assigning the codes. And 1.12 is family composition. Often it is found that the data which is collected under family composition, it is not used or it remains unused. So well in advance you should know that how to use this data set of data which refers to the family related information. So you will have to be clear that family composition related data cannot be entered along with the main database. For this, you will have to have a separate database, so that all the family composition related data of each of the respondent, of different respondents, you will be entering in a separate database, in a separate Excel sheet or a separate Excel workbook. Okay. So in brief, I have referred to as to what is the interview schedule and how it should be looking like, and how you should be also incorporating the codes or coding also simultaneously. You can do it if you wish. Now let us go to the coding and the preparation of the code sheet or the code book. Your code sheet or code book may appear something like this. So sex, uh, the variable sex has two aspects. Male, you have given code 1, and female, you have assigned code 2. Like for caste category variables, you have assigned for general 1, OBC 2, SC 3. Similarly, you see the variable age. You have, let us say, assigned because elderly people, they start from 60. So those who are above 60 only, you are considering them as elderly people, and you are collecting data of all such people who are either 60 or above the age of 60. And this is how you can assign the codes. See, you can limit the classes. This is what is referred to as classification of the data. So you can limit the classes also, like from 60 to 65. Instead of 60 to 65, you can club these two together. 60 to 70, then 71 to 80, then 81 to 90, and 91 and above. So you have reduced the classes, but please keep it in mind. Yesterday also I had reminded you that age, when you're collecting the data, don't collect the data in the form of age groups. You collect the actual age, and also side by side you have the age category. So you write down the age, actual age, and then tick mark the assigned category. Okay. So if you do not write down the actual age, if you want to again reclassify, let us say, like you have taken 60 to 70, but if you later on feel that if I divide this class category into two different categories, like 60 to 65 and 66 to 70, you cannot do this if you do not have the actual age. So you need to know how to collect raw data and what is the importance of raw data. The actual age is the raw data, and when you are converting that age into age group, then already you have started this process of what you call as processing of the data. So you need to be careful whether you should be collecting raw data or processed data. So it will always be better that a certain type of data, which are quantitative data, you should collect it in the form of actual raw data instead of going for collecting classified data. And the educational qualification also, uh, similarly, no formal education, one primary, two secondary, three, so on and so forth. This is how you develop the code book, and this is what is referred to as the process of coding. Yesterday we discussed about sample design. So after you create the interview schedule, and also develop the code book, and all these things you have done in advance, then you select a particular sample design. So yesterday I spoke about probability or random sampling, or non-probability or, or non-random sampling. So you see here, sampling is required only when you are collecting a few, covering a few of the respondents from your population. If you are covering all the people in the population, or which is referred to as the universe, then it is called census data, census. And when you are doing a census study, census survey research, then sample design will not be applicable. So you need not worry about what should be the sample design, whether you should go for random sampling or non-random sampling, within probability or not random sampling, whether you should go for simple random or stratified sample or cluster uh, sampling or multi-stage sampling. So you need not worry about all these things. So we can discuss this later. Okay, so since we had discussed about all these things yesterday also little bit, I am simply skipping all these various aspects. And uh, you need to understand as to what is triangulation. Triangulation, as all of you know, that most of you might have seen a bridge or a steel bridge, let us say, iron bridge. And how does that bridge look like? How the bridge is constructed, iron bridge is constructed. You will see that there are a lot of triangles. And it is said that a triangle is the most stable uh, figure or configuration. A square is not stable. A rectangle is not stable. A circle is also not stable. But a triangle is the most stable structure. So wherever you will see um, iron structures which have to be stable, then you will find that there are n number of triangles, and all these triangles might have been connected, fabricated with one another. If you go to the, let us say, railway platform, and if you look above, uh, if you look at the ceiling, you will find that there are iron girders where you will find triangles, and that is how you get stability. So there would be a single pillar in between, and no other pillars, either on the side of the railway track or on the opposite side, where the various cantons, booksellers, and other shops will be there. So if you look to the top in the railway station, you will also see that there are iron girders, and all the what do you call, asbestos sheets or the tin sheets which are there, it will be fixed on top of it, because it is a very stable structure. So likewise, in research also, we have borrowed this idea of triangulation from civil engineering or mechanical engineering, and we have tried to appropriately use it in research. So what does triangulation mean? Means you are using more than one tool of data collection, or you are using more than one method of data collection. And what is the purpose? Why are you using more than one tool of data collection? Because one tool of data collection may be having some advantages and also some disadvantages, which would be done away with when you are using another tool of data collection, because it will also be having some advantages and disadvantages, some limitations. So the limitation of one tool could be um, completed or could be overcome by using the second tool. So that is why it is said that nowadays, in order to make your research very qualitatively rich, you should be using both quantitative research methods and qualitative research methods. So accordingly, if you are using uh, an interview schedule or a questionnaire to collect data relating to variables which are quantifiable in nature or which can be quantified by using codes, then that is one method. And if you are, let us say, using observation as a method of data collection, then you will have to use an observation guide. So through that also you will be collecting some data. And when you are mixing the quantitative data that you have got through survey research and qualitative data through the use of observation guide. So this is how your research will get enriched, and qualitative improvement you will find in your research and analysis. And it will also, the qualitative research part will also add to the logical conclusions that you will be deriving by doing an analysis of the quantitative data. I've already referred to how the construction tool needs to be constructed. Now let us move to Excel. Here you see, I hope you are able to see Excel sheet. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Are you able to see the Excel sheet?
No, 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 sir.
yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
No, sir.
Are you able to see it now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Good.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you, are you able to see it?
No, sir.
Excel sheet.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Some of you may not be having a good network, so it may not be visible, but I think most of you might be able to see it. So Excel sheet, are you able to see it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all of you or most of you, some of you haven't filled up this registration form. I would request those who have not filled up the registration form, please fill it up. Those who have filled up, you might have come across the interview schedule. The questionnaire. So because it was sent to you by mail, and you filled up the Google form, so the data that you have filled up, it has come to us, and I've used the data, downloaded the data in the form of an Excel sheet, and now I am using this data to explain to you how you should be filling up the Excel sheet whenever you have collected all the data in different interview schedules or questionnaires, and then enter the data in an Excel sheet. So here is an Excel workbook. See, I'm clicking on different Excel sheets. This is the original data that I received from all of you. And the second sheet, this is another sheet. Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is another sheet, the second sheet, which refers to the processed data. I have processed the data that was sent by all of you, and so that I can explain it to you in a systematic manner. And the third sheet, hope you are able to see it.
Yes, sir.
It refers, it,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it, it may be showing some tables. Is it?
Yes, sir.
You have you have table
Yes, sir.
1, table 2, univariate table, bivariate table. The first one is a bivariate table. Is it visible? Yes.
Yes, sir.
And the
Yes, sir.
second is yes, yes. And you keep on telling me yes or no, otherwise I cannot know. So the second is univariate table. So table 2 refers to distribution of respondents by age. So you will have to assign a title to each and every table. So the first table, which refers to bivariate table, the name of the table, the title of the table is table 1, means the table number has to be mentioned, and then the title also. So it refers to distribution of respondents by age and sex. So there are two variables. One variable is age or age group or age category, and the second is female and male. So sex is the other variable, and here you have the age as a or age category as a variable. So this is a bivariate table. So this portion refers to a bivariate table. Based on this table and based on the data distribution here, you will be writing your analysis under the table. So this is how the tabulation is done and data analysis is done. Okay. So this table, I did not do it manually. I used the pivot table in Excel sheet in Excel in order to create all these or generate these tables. I'm going to the original data. This is the original data. And after that, I processed this original data, which is there in the second sheet. And the name of the second worksheet or the Excel sheet refers to processed data. Below, at the bottom, you will find processed data. Good? Got it? So you see the original data. It has the first row, which refers to the data that you have entered in the Google sheet. And in the second sheet, you see, I have entered another column. So data in Excel sheet is entered in the form of rows like this, or and in the form of columns. So this column you see, which refers to the ID code, the first column the name or the address of the first column, which is A1. A1 means A is the column, B means B is the second column, C means C is the third column, D means D is the fourth column. So A1 refers to column A, first row, and where I have clicked just now, which refers to 2. So the address is written here A3. So A refers to column A, first column, and 3 refers to the third row. So all the data has to be entered in the form of rows and in the form of columns. So the first row is important and the first column also is highly important. So you find here the names which is there in the fourth row, A, B, C, D. So fourth row. So I have given to each and every name, assigned to each and every name, which is there, every person, which is there in the in separate rows, one ID. So it refers to as the ID code. So Ashutosh Pradhan, I have entered the data also in the registration form. So my name appears here, here, and I have assigned ID code 1. So similarly, for the second person, Biswakalpita Mahanti, the ID code assigned has been, it did not appear in the where in the Google form. So I had to create this separate column, ID code column, and I had to enter the numbers also, assign the numbers also. So 2 refers to Biswakalpita Mahanti, 3 refers to Santanu Swine, 4 refers to Damokhilo. So likewise, so on and so forth. All these codes are in reference to all these people whose names have been written down by each one of you. So then we have in each column, you see a specific type of data. Here you have the email data. Here you have the name, the fourth column. The fifth column refers to sex. The sixth column refers to age. And here you see age group. This is G column. So I have entered a new column here. I have entered a blank column first here, and after that, in between, and after that, I converted this age into age group. So if it is 57, it falls between 51 to 60. If it is 28, it falls between 21 to 20. So how did I assign the age group? 15 to 20 is the first age group. Then 21 to 30 is the second, and 10 to something like this, 11 to 20 is the first age group, and 21 to 30 is the second age group. 31 to 40, see this, when you are referring to age group, they should not overlap. Means it you cannot have this type of age group category, so you'll have to be careful whenever you are classifying your data. 20 to 30, and then again from 30 to 40, you cannot have it like that. So 21 to 30, then 30 to 31 to 40, then 41 to 50. Similarly, you create the age groups when you are preparing the code sheet or code table, and all these single individual ages will have to converted into the age category. So here you see in the pivot table, when the age or the age category data is classified along is matched with the sex variable, you see that in this column you have the vertically you have the age group categories, 10 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, so on and so forth. and here you have the in the horizontal side you have the female and male. The sex variable is represented here horizontally, and the age group data is represented or the classification is represented vertically. So this is how you develop when you are processing the data in the table in the Excel sheet. So this is how you will have to probably convert your data into, you'll have to use your own ingenious ways how to process the data and how to arrange or rearrange the data sheets that you will be creating. Okay, so uh, so this is an Excel sheet. This is the original Excel sheet. Then this is the processed Excel sheet, and these are the pivot tables. Okay, now let us take a blank sheet. Let us see how to develop a pivot table. So you take the processed data, okay, data sheet. Then you go to insert here on the top. These are the different menus. Okay, like first you have file, then you have home, then you have insert, then you have page layout on the top. Are you able to see it? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you have, yeah, it may be a little bit small, but so then you have formulas, then you have data menu, you have review menu, you have view menu, and you have help menu. I will now focus on the insert menu. So this is the insert menu, and here you are seeing pivot table. Got it? Pivot table, you can see. So click on pivot table. So I have clicked pivot table, and this is the box that is created when you clicked on pivot table menu icon in the insert menu. You got this box where it says that pivot table from table or range. So what is the range? So this is the range in which your data is there. So there are 218 people who have registered for attending the workshop. So all the data that you might have entered has or appears in this 218 people in 219 rows. Okay. So the first row is for the variables and the first column is for the individuals, the ID or the persons. So do you want it in a new worksheet? The pivot table, should it appear in a new worksheet? So if you click this is a radio button, and below the new worksheet, there is another radio button which refers to existing worksheet. So if you, let us say you are clicking new worksheet, so you click OK. So what will happen? A new, here you see, select a table or range here. And table range is already given processed data. So since we have opened the processed data Excel sheet, so it has already taken on its own processed data Excel sheet $A $1 means from A1 cell to W. So the data is here in the last column is W, that refers to attendance on 26 to 2023, and the you see $W $219. So 218 is in the 219th row. So the computer or the Excel sheet, it reads the 218th respondents data which is there in the 219th row in the Excel sheet. So from A1 to W219 means from here from here A1 to here, the last cell. So it has already selected on its own. So you need not worry about it. You can also do it on by yourself. But the whole sheet, entire sheet, wherever the data is, it has selected on its own. So let us see. So you click the new worksheet radio button and click OK. Let us see what happens. So a new worksheet has been created. The name of the worksheet is sheet 5. And on the right hand side, you can see pivot table fields. Let us do something magical. You click here, you find all the variables. Are you able to see? The first variable is ID code. Second is timestamp. Third is email address. Fourth is name. Fifth is sex. Now let me click sex in the checkbox. So I have clicked sex. Then what I do, I click on sex again and then carry it and drop it in the box below where there is a box for values. So you see count of sex is being shown here in the form of table. So when I tick marked the sex, see I have removed the tick mark. So this pivot table area is blank now. Again, when I tick mark the sex variable, you see that in the rows it has come sex, and you see the data when you catch it. See, I'm catching the data here. Click the sex data and carry it, drag it below and put it under the value box. So count of sex it appears, and this is how you can see. I'm sure you will be able to see. I have made the Excel sheet big. The font size I have increased. So row labels are female and male, and the count of sex is given. So the total number of candidates who registered for attending this program. So you have female who are 132, numbering 132, and males have registered only 86. So what is the percentage? You can use formula in percentage, like is equal to, you'll have to learn by yourself. Is equal to, you have put, and then you click here, then the entire thing comes. The cell has been selected, so the entire thing comes and divided by, then so 132 divided by 218. Again you click on 218. So the rest of the address it comes, and divided by, sorry, into means star mark. So you press shift and then uh, uh, enter the star mark. So that refers to into, and then you write 100. So you will get the percentage. So you reduce the percentage into 2 digits after the decimal point. And similarly, you can calculate the percentage as I did. First you write is equal to, as I did now. Then you click on 86. So you get the data. Go to the address bar on top and you put the forward slash. So you get the divided sign. And then again you divide it by the total number of respondents. So 218 is the total number of respondents. Click on 218. So you get this. And then go to the address bar or the calculation bar, and then you press shift and enter the star mark. Then you uh, type down 100, because that is how the percentage is calculated, and then press enter. So you have pressed enter, and then you reduce the digits. So you have now 60% as female and 39.45% as female. So how do you get the total? you keep the cursor here and go to the top, which there is a symbol here. You click that, sigma refers to sum. So as you click it, you'll get the sum. So automatically it it includes all the data that is there above that particular cell, and then you press enter, you will get 100%. So this is how you can convert your data into what you call percentages. And now I think it will be easy for you to write down something. So what analysis can you make? That majority of the persons who registered for this training program or workshop were females, and they comprised a very large number, that is almost 61% or 60.5%. And the male members showed less interest in this training program, and they amounted to 39.5%. Okay, so this is how you do an analysis. Maybe today also the number of people who are attending this session could be females. Only if we get the data relating to today's attendance, we can analyze whether female have attended today more or males have attended more in number. What is the ratio in which males and females have attended today's program? So this is how you generate the what you call um, the pivot tables, and that is how the data is gets converted into tables with the use of this insert menu and the pivot table icon, which is here. You click it and you get um, the necessary requirement, and then you select the variables. Then I will show you another way in which how to generate the uh, generate the uh, rest of the tables. Let us say you want to create another table. So what do? You go to the top, select the row label, count of sex, and this entire thing, and press Control C, means copy. Again, click somewhere below and Control V, you paste it. Now you will see that on the right hand side here, all the variables appear, and the boxes for columns, rows, and values, these boxes at the bottom, it has appeared. Now you deselect sex. So the variables are gone. Got it? So then we go to age group. So you click the age group box, and then you catch hold of age group, press the left left hand side of the mouse, and you drag it below and drop it under the box which is referred to as the values. So you see that there is a mention of count of age group, means how many people are in which age group. This count of age group you can see now. So this is how the table has been formed. You have when this data table has been created, you see that here it was 218, and below under age group there is only 216. Two people are missing. So who are those two people who are missing? They have left the this data blank. This portion, they have not entered their age. Okay, so uh, so there may be such errors. So when you are editing the data, when you have received all the data, you need to ensure whether some of the data are missing or not. If they are missing, is there a possible way out of collecting all this information again, either through phone or through email, or make another visit to them? Please don't manipulate, because when you manipulate the data, then you never know how your data becomes impure, and the analysis that you will do, it may go wrong also. the correlation that you would like to establish between two variables, or the regression analysis that you would be doing as to which variable is affecting which second variable or other variable, this interpretation may go wrong. So this is how you can create your tables. So if you want another third table, copy it, select this table, copy it, Control C, press it somewhere in the Excel sheet. Then you again get, let us say, go to district. I am first deselecting age group, then I'm selecting district, and I'm dragging district under values. Just see what is the amount of data editing you will have to do, or data cleaning you will have to do. Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are
Yes,
you
sir.
able to see?
Yes, sir.
Here you see that there is Sundargarh thrice. Why? Why? Because of spelling mistake. The respondent who has entered the data, he has committed spelling mistake. So that is why you have a Sundargarh. You have another which is called SUNDER. So that is how another new name. And there is the third person who has entered Sundargarh, SUNDRA. Got it? You see Khurda. Huh? You see. Here you have KHORDA Khurda. Then you have KHORDHA Khurda. Then you have somebody has written, interesting, KHORTHA Khurda. Somebody has written Khurda. Another person has written Khurda. Another person has written Kordha. So these spelling mistakes creates nuisance. Got it? So what is the best way out? You assign codes when you are creating the interview schedule or the tool of data collection, the other tool of data, that is questionnaire. So if you have incorporated the codes in the questionnaire itself, or in the interview schedule itself, or in the scale itself, when you are entering the data, you are not writing the names of the districts. You are only writing the codes. Got it? Okay.
Yes.
Like here, what has been done? Here, what has been done? You have entered, you have written female and male. Why is there no mistake here in female and male? Because in your Google form, the answer options were provided earlier. So you simply had to click it. So had you written down FEAMALE, somebody would have written FEAMLE, somebody would have written FIMALE, somebody else would have written MALA, Mala, somebody would have written MILE, Mille, like that. So like you see here, in somebody has written C, district BPSR, another has written Bhubaneswar, spelled it right. You have here another Khurda appears, a district Khurda somebody has written. So more the option of writing down the answer in detail you are giving a chance to your respondent who is filling up the questionnaire himself or herself. He or she would be committing mistakes, and you will have to what do you call, catch hold of your hair, and it would be a hair splitting exercise in editing the data or cleaning the data, so that you can draw some meaningful conclusions. So you now see district Khurda, this one, how many are there? One person is there. Okay. KHORDHA, 6 people have entered this spelling. KHORDA, Khurda, 6 people. KHORDHA, Khurda, 51 people have spelled Khurda, and there are 51 people. Khurda Now, this person by mistake has done it, KHORTHA. So one person has spelled it wrongly. And Khurda, 12 people have written. Khurdha, 4 people have written. So you get different spelling for the same district. And here, just interesting, the question asked was, to which domicile district do you belong? Somebody has written Bhubaneswar, BBSR, and another has written Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar only is a town. It is part of Khurda district. You should have 3 people have written Bhubaneswar and BBSR 1 person. So 4 people have written Bhubaneswar. That is the name of the town. It is not the district. So Bhubaneswar falls in Khurda district. Got it? Now, why such errors appear in your database? Because you have given freedom to the respondent to fill up the data in whatever manner he or she thinks. So if there is a spelling mistake he or she is committing, so you will get this type of data which is there. Got it? Is it not interesting?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what
sir.
you are supposed to be doing? Anugul 1, Balangir 2, Baleswar 3, Ganjam 4. I am speaking about codes now. Bargad 5. See, somebody has written Banjam, BANJM. Spelling mistake, 1 person. Only 1 person committed this spelling mistake. I am not naming who is the person because of confidentiality. Social work, confidentiality, and in research, ethics is very important. You should not name the people, because naming and shaming is a very bad thing in research. Okay, so Bargad is, let us say you have given code 6, then Bhadrak you give 7, Bolangir, there is a spelling mistake. Chhattisgarh, is it a district or a state? So somebody has written who is from Chhattisgarh, he has written the name of the state as district name. So you have Cuttack, which is district. Is it district or town?
Cuttack district.
It is both a district and a town also. Okay. So then there is somebody who is from Delhi, 1 person. Dhenkanal is a district. So to each and every district, you assign a code. 1 to arrange it in alphabetical order, as you see here to some extent. Then assign codes. After you have arranged this in alphabetical order, the districts, you assign codes to each one of the district. And when you are entering the data in the Excel sheet, it should not be in the form of the names of the district. It should be only the codes that you should be entering. Got it? So I had created some Excel pivot tables using Excel. So this is how you see. I have identified beforehand as a preparation to this today's lecture. You see that somebody has written for this is in relation to, you see, table 5, distribution of respondents by occupation. 1 person has written accounts. Okay. Somebody has written AHL Odisha. Is it an occupation? And next is AN. What do you mean by that? So the problem is, now you must be realizing, when you give freedom to your respondent, then these errors will creep in automatically. It will come into your database. Got it? So maximum part of your questions, you will have to convert it into data are of, I'm forgetting the name. Pradeep, can you help me? When you convert your data into codified form, what is it called?
Yes. Actually,
you
yes,
have
sir. While actually,
you
what sir told, while designing the questionnaire or putting any question, it is very important to make it close-ended questionnaire. Subject to
Right.
if you know the possible options. If you don't know the possible options, you need to have a open-ended questionnaire where the respondent will have the freedom to fill anything. However, as we have already seen, in case of open-ended questionnaire, there is the possibility of facing different errors or mistakes. So in that case, the burden of cleaning the data increases to the researcher. So we need to again think about it, but close-ended questionnaire is always better, and it is also better for analysis and further interpretation, everything. But subject to the researcher must know the all the possible responses before designing the questionnaire.
Right. So when you are framing your questions, most of the questions, if you develop in the form of closed-ended questions, means you have given no option for the respondent to write down the answer. He or she will only click or tick mark a particular answer. If it is done so, then directly you are entering the code in the Excel sheet. There is a difference between entering the data and entering the data using Google form. In Google form also we can have close-ended question. I made a mention about sex. You simply had to choose between the two options, that is male and female. So that is why there is no mistake. You did not find any mistake in information related to sex. So you see, you have only female and male because there is no error, spelling mistake done, because you were not given the freedom to write down female or write down male, male. So had you been given the freedom, similar mistake you would have committed, or the person who is entering the data would have committed, as we saw uh, in as we saw here under the table district wise distribution of data. So you see, I have marked for occupation. You just see that this is not an occupation. AHL Odisha is not an occupation. AN is not an occupation. Someone has entered aww.job. What does this mean? And somebody has written his or her own abbreviation, CCE. What does this mean? And somebody has written cluster coordinator. It is a designation. It is not occupation. Occupation is teaching is an occupation. Okay. Uh, or occupation can be converted. It is up to the researcher. How does he or she interpret as to how to represent occupation? Occupation, somebody has written farmer. Here you see somebody has written farmers. Again, spelling mistake. See, farming is an occupation. Teaching is an occupation. Government job is an occupation. Private job is another occupation. You can have, say, let us say a corporate job is an occupation. Somebody has written housewife, H. Homemaker is another occupation. And some other person has written housewife is an occupation. Housewife is not an occupation. A homemaker could be an occupation. Okay. So whenever we give, somebody has written, I am a guest faculty. So guest faculty is the designation of the position in which you are. It is not an occupation. So it means that many of us who have written down something under occupation, we are not conscious or we are not serious when we are writing down. Whether you are writing down the name of the designation or whether you are writing down the occupation to which you belong, that that you are not able to understand. See, I am not blaming anybody because people think differently. People have understood the concepts differently. So accordingly, we fill up. The blame lies with me, not with the respondent. I am not blaming any respondent here who is attending the workshop. I am blaming myself because the manner in which I have designed the tool was not right. we knowingly committed this mistake because we could analyze the data and show you as to what is the importance of coding, what is the importance of classification, why data should be codified and entered in the Excel sheet in the form of codes, because you will be committing the least errors or least mistakes. When you are entering 1 for female, you are typing only one button, pressing only one button. But if you are writing female, FEMALE, 6 buttons you are pressing. So when you are pressing 6 buttons, your finger may may press some other button, adjoining button, and you commit a spelling error. But when you are entering data, only when you are pressing once, if you are pressing 1, you are pressing only once. If you are pressing code number 4, so you are only pressing 4 once. So there are chances of committing error when you are entering data in the form of codes would be the minimal. If you are committing an error, instead of 4, you are pressing 3, it means that you are not careful when you are entering your codified data in the Excel sheet. So when we are entering the data, we'll have to be very careful as to when you are entering the codes in the data sheet, how much important it is to be very careful when you are entering the data, because it will influence your analysis. Got it? So somebody has written for occupation guest faculty history, Samantha Chandrasekharpur College, entire address he or she has written. So you see, somebody has written I'm in a job. Somebody has written I'm a job holder. Somebody has written I'm a laborer. Somebody has written I'm a lecturer. Lecturer is a designation, not an occupation. Somebody has written Master of Social Work. Master of Social Work is the name or title of the course which you are attending. So the occupation is student. You are a student. So we need to understand. Somebody has written NA. What does NA means? Na means I'm not having any job. I'm not in any occupation. It is good that somebody has written no at least, and somebody else has written no occupation. If it is okay with no, why do you write extra words no occupation? Somebody has written not. Somebody has written nothing. So you see, na to nothing. So many variables you have written down. All these are same. Okay. And then you see the
Sir,
private job. How many different types of private job you see?
I
So
think,
this is
sir,
how.
we'll have
Yeah.
now some question and answer session, because at 8:30 automatically
Okay.
it will close.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
uh,
Okay. I think I have come to the end of explaining how to what is an Excel sheet and how to arrange your data in rows and column. This is the row where you will be entering the various variables, and this is the first column. The first row and first column are important. The first column refers to the persons whom you have assigned a code, particular code, and all the data in between refers to the data of each and every person which appears. You cannot enter, means the researcher cannot enter the data of Ashutosh Pradhan in the second row, in the third row somewhere else. Like that, you cannot jump the row. Ashutosh Pradhan, all the data related to Ashutosh Pradhan has to be entered in that same row. You cannot jump the row. Vishwakalpita Mahanti, the same row. So on and so forth. So you see, when we refer to science, research is a science. Research is done in a scientific manner, systematic manner. Here you see that when you are entering the data, you are entering the data in a systematic manner in rows and columns. So this is how you do your data entry. And I also spoke about pivot tables, how the use of pivot table in the insert menu, the use of pivot table icon can be used for generating data tables. Okay, thank you, Pradeep. And thanks to all the participants who have patiently listened to me attentively. And I'm sure many of you might have benefited out of today's lecture. We can hold some other session on some other day. And if you have any further queries, we can go for it. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Basically, today we discussed
Yes.
how to design the interview schedule or tool, and how to enter data and further analysis. So in this no, today's discussion, the basic thing, being a beginner in the field of research, we need to understand is, first thing we have already told yesterday, the ethics of research is very, very important. As sir told, manipulation of data violates the ethics of research. So we should be very, very careful for this, being a beginner, because if that practice will continue in future, we will be very much familiar with that, not in the purity of data. Then coming to the variables, understanding variable and responses and different type of schedules is very, very important. Based on your research, you have to design, and you have to gather what variable is required for a particular research that I am going to conduct. And second thing is regarding the in your schedule, the type of question, to minimize the error in data entry and data collection, the designing question is very, very important. So while designing question, you have to, you can have, like, as we have already told, open-ended and close-ended questionnaire. In case of a close-ended question, all the answers are given in the schedule, and subject to the researcher must know what are the possible answers. If you don't know, you have to make it open-ended. That means the space is open, and based on the response from the respondent, you have to fill it. So again, while writing the open-ended questionnaire, or while getting the open answers through a open-ended question, why you have to be very, very careful while entering and before analysis. Thank you so much, sir. And in the next Saturday and Sunday, we'll have the discussion about to how to write a dissertation and how to write a report. Based on this data, how to analyze and interpret, how to present data in different form. Today sir told us how to present data in tabular form, and uh, beyond tabular form, we can also present data in along in different other forms, like graphical presentation of data is also possible. You can also present data through diagram, and many other presentations are also possible. In our next speaker will be talking about how to present data and how to interpret data, and how to prepare your final report. So hope you will communicate this information to other friends, because today some of the friends have already left the meeting. And if you have any question regarding today's discussion, now we can continue the questionnaire session. And after that, if you have any further question even in the mind, you can also write us email. And today we are going to share with you a sample interview schedule that you can fill and send us back through the email. Thank you. Please, if any question you have, you can
We
ask.
we have half an hour, so all the questions that you have, we can address your questions, and as far as possible, we can give clarification. Yes, please come forward with your questions. Come on.
Those who want to ask question, please unmute yourself and ask any question if you have. Even beyond today's discussion, you can also ask question, anything related to research.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I am
Good
Hruday
evening.
from Nice. I am from Nice and I am second year MSW student. Sir, now I am staying in Rayagada. For few times I visit old age center and I become very emotional in that center, and I find lots of scope and lots of scope for improvement to improve their lifestyle. Sir, I am planning to make a research paper on the old age center and what can be done from the public as well as from government side. Sir, basically my question is that how many districts, basically I want to analyze it to the Odisha government, how many districts or minimum how many old age center data should be in my report that government will accept my proposal, and government may design some policy for improvement of their lifestyle.
See, influencing policy is a very tricky matter and it's a very difficult task. But I will not discourage you, because that is what professional social workers are expected to do. They are supposed to be working at the micro level, means one old age home, let us say, or at the macro level, means at the state level. When you are interested in influencing policy, if the policy is not properly crafted or designed or written, so but ground realities one should know based on the research that you have done, and you can draw the attention of the government of Odisha or government of India. And if you get the feedback from the inmates, those who are staying in the old age home, those who are managing the institution, if you get information from all the different stakeholders, even the community could be a stakeholder, the neighboring the shopkeepers who are in the neighborhood, they could also be a stakeholder, because from all these different people, different stakeholders, you can get a lot of information. If you are able to compile all these information, then you can develop a research paper and a policy paper, and you can submit it to the government of Odisha. And you can also have a press conference in which you can present your findings. But you'll have to be very careful when you are identifying the flaws in the policy. Then the government will come forward. If you are making a press note and writing something in the press, means you will draw the attention of the government. And if the data has not been properly collected, if the survey design is not proper, and if the sample units that you have selected is not scientifically designed, then there are chances that you may be caught in the intricacies of research. Research is a very complicated, not complicated, it's a very complex thing, and one has to be very careful when you are working at the macro level. So you can do a case study of an old age home also, and try to uh, tell in detail as to what are the issues and problems and challenges of old age homes, of an old age home, one old age home. So it could be a case study, and case studies also could lead to further larger research that can be done either by you or some other researcher or some other agency who is into research. Yes, next.
Sir, I am S.R. Mohanty from NIS. In contest to Hruday's question, I just want to check with you, sir. Is there any chance that any old age home or any child care centers are not registered under government, or they are all registered under government?
For that, you'll have to investigate and find out. But it is always a risky business if you ask for people to show their registration certificate and permission that they have got from the government or not, or you will have to go from top down. Means you first collect the list of registered NGOs which are running daycare centers or old age home or whatever sort of organization they are running, catering to whichever specific population. So if you have the proper list from the top, get it from the government sources, and then you go and find out whether if it is there. If you have gone to Koraput district and you find that there are 10 old age homes and only 2 are registered, and find a place in the government document, and the rest 8 are not registered with the government of Odisha, it means that something is wrong somewhere. And there are chances that when you probe into the functioning of such organizations, there are chances that people may challenge you, and you should not go alone. That should be at least 2-3 people when you are accompanying, because there is a chance of risk to one's self. You may get challenged, also physically challenged. Yes.
Understand, sir.
Next.
Thank you very much.
Any other? How karakon doubt achi? Anybody has any doubts further related to Excel database management?
Any other question? You can ask. Please. You have another 10 minutes. If you have any question, you can ask.
There may be some people who might not have done their registrations. I would request on behalf of the organizers that you please register yourself so that we get all the data, all those who have registered. I think Gyanalok would be issuing certificates, those who have attended all the 3 or 4 sessions that they have scheduled for this workshop. Okay, then, since there are no more questions, I'm sure
Hello, sir.
all
Another
of
more question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, now we are second year student. Sir, how will get a seat in PhD? What are the different
where are you currently enrolled?
NIS Madanpur.
All the queries are coming from NIS. Okay. What was your question? PhD related?
Yes, sir. After my MSW, I want to get seat in PhD. We only know the net. Then, except net, what are another ways? How to get a seat in PhD?
See, net has 2 different components. One is you pass the national eligibility test for lectureship, and the second is the JRF. JRF is for Junior Research Fellowship. So if you pass net only for lectureship, then you are eligible to apply for a teaching job. And if you want to have a fellowship, scholarship from UGC, Government of India, then you'll have to qualify in JRF. So when you have a JRF, if you work hard and get through a JRF, then your chances of getting admission in any publicly funded institution like central universities or state government universities, it increases more, because JRFs are given preference over those who have net, or those who do not have either net or JRF. Got it? So you should work hard. If you are sincerely trying to take admission in PhD, you will have to work hard in order to pass this barrier of net JRF. Got it? This is one.
Yes.
And another aspect is that nowadays you cannot do part-time PhD. Like, let us say I am a professor. As per UGC norms, I can guide at a time only 8 PhD students. Got it? So if I have already 4 PhD students, when the advertisement for the next round of PhD selections will happen, only 4 candidates I can take further. So in the advertisement against my name, it will be mentioned 4 vacancies. So the name of the faculty often is not written, but in a department of social work, if there are, let us say, 5 faculty members, so all the vacancies under all these 5 members would be advertised. So it may turn out to be 11 or 12 or 13, something of that sort. So the total vacancy would be written as 13, let us say. So lot of, when the advertisement comes out, lot of applications also come. Since I'm in a central university, of course we do not have a campus now, but if we have a campus, and Dharmshala would be an attractive place for tourism also. Greenery all around, snow covered mountains are there nearby. You can also enjoy the environment here, and also you can do your PhD. So if we have a campus, the competition will increase. So if you have GRF, the chances of getting admission um, in a PhD program would be much easier than if you do not have a NET or JRF.
Is there any scope in IGNO, sir? IGNO?
Pardon, you can also registered in IGNO, but there also the same criteria applies in the entire country. This same condition applies. The number of faculty members and the number of vacancies that they have, these vacancies are only advertised.
Okay, thanks.
So another more thing.
And if you are doing PhD in, if you are doing PhD in IGNO, it cannot be in distance mode. PhD program these days cannot be done in distance mode. It has to be a regular program. You'll have to attend the coursework, write the coursework examination. So you'll have to be registered in the university, and also you'll have to stay in that town or city and attend the classes regularly. And also after the coursework is over, after the results are published, then you'll have to attend on a daily basis the university, meet your faculty supervisor after the allotment is made. So it cannot be a distance mode program. You'll have to be there. Next, somebody was asking.
Sir, Monty again from this. Sorry, Uday, carry on.
No, just one thing I have to add with Ashutosh sir. Even without having NET or GRF, another process you can also follow, like university is having its own examination for selection of a PhD. And in that case, if you can qualify the written examination and vivas,
there is a written examination.
Government of Odisha Higher Education Department is providing fellowship that you can also avail.
Okay, I was not aware.
Now it is for all. Last year, the secretary, principal secretary, and higher education minister has announced. They have announced that whoever will enroll for PhD will get fellowship if they are not enrolled under JRF or other national fellowship. Okay, thank you.
Sir, is there any age limit?
For JRF,
I think. No, there is no age limit. There is no age limit.
No, sir. For JRF, there is an age limit. I think 32 or 33.
For JRF.
Yes.
But for unreserved category,
yes.
Yeah, for unreserved category, I think it is 28. During COVID times, they increased the age, but again, I think it is back to this.
Yes.
But all the PhD admissions nowadays are happening through an entrance test. That is the basic requirement of the UGC also. It is compulsory to write an entrance examination for admission to PhD program. Yes, next.
Sir, SR Monty again from NIS. I got one question from Pradeep sir. Sir, can you arrange a session for SAS and SPSS, because these are two basic strong tools which which is more into data analytics and research.
No, we don't have any issue to arrange such type of programs like SPSS, analyzing data using SPSS, Tata, R, eViews, and SAS. Anything we can arrange, and we have also adequate number of resource persons. So the important thing is your participation.
Right,
If
correct,
the
understand.
if the number we cannot meet the number, I don't think we can organize such program by inviting the people from different part of India.
Correct.
So first you have to ensure that you will be participating. Now you can see still the discussion is going on, and today we reached around 90, 92, 93 something participation. Now it is only 50. But this no gesture is not good. We all must understand this. And if you will invite somebody from outside and you will pay for them for this program, and if the participation will not be adequate, then how can we organize such programs? So first you ensure that number. After that, whatever no topic or whatever issue you want to be discussed, we are there to organize such programs.
Right, sir, understand. But it will be a great help for the students if they learn SAS or R.
You are from NIS, right?
I'm from NIS.
Okay, but for analyzing data, even in physical mode, in your college you can talk to your people and organize. I am even conversant with SPSS. I can teach you SPSS, how to analyze data using SPSS in a physical mode. I can go to your college. For that I will not charge anything. That you can also make ensure to your college and teach in physical mode, because this type of softwares are uh,
These
good
softwares
good
has
to
a huge
understand.
demand in the entire world.
No, these are good to understand if it is organized in a physical mode. I don't say ki,
Yes.
no, in a virtual mode people cannot understand, but if it is organized in a physical mode, it is a little better to clarify the doubts and understand the things.
Right,
You
sir.
can
Understand.
organize, talk to your
One,
college
one
and
No, even in virtual board it can be done, but you will have to sit with your laptop or computer, and s- when the instructions are given, you follow the instructions and do it on your own. So that way also it can be done, but it is always advisable that it be done in physical mode.
yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So you talk to your college, and if you can organize anything, you can invite me. I can go and teach you people. Let
We'll
us
do that.
start
We'll do
with
that, sir.
some. Yes.
We'll do that, sir. Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Any other apart from NIIS?
Hello, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, my name is Himanshu Ranjan. I am a student of semester first in Mahatma Gandhi Center University. Sir, I went to
Yes.
anemia meeting for 2 days in 2 different districts. My question is that, sir,
Hmm.
those people who are anemic, like mostly children and women, then, sir,
Hmm.
how can I arrange in the data on the basis of age group in my report?
No, if you are doing a study on anemia and anemic children and anemic women, then you need to have a thorough understanding about how to measure anemic people who are anemic. Okay, so you may
Yes, sir.
have
Yes.
to have a consultation with a health professional, means a doctor, or you read
Yes.
adequately books and literature, and but that itself isn't enough. You'll have to have some mechanism or uh, measurement aid as to how you judge or assess whether a person is anemic or not. So in that process you will generate data and you will record the data. Am I clear, Himanshu?
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No,
Okay.
if you have any further query, please ask.
Sir, no, sir. No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. We
Okay,
have
okay.
to actually close today's session because now it is already 8:26. So
Any other person? Let us give a chance to the last question. Anybody?
probably no.
Okay.
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 Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you all participants. Hope we will have more number of similar type of consultation and discussion in near future. As I have already told you, please communicate your friends and classmates regarding the Saturday training program that I have already told you. Every Saturday we are planning to organize a lecture on different issues related to social work or society, and how the social worker as a social work professional we can address that issue by applying all the methods that we are studying in the classroom. So please keep in mind and write to us through email or WhatsApp. So likewise, we can think of it and organize similar type of consultations or discussion. Thank you all participants, and a special thank to Professor Ashutosh Pradhan for giving us his time and elaborating all the necessary things. Probably we all know the importance of research, and after MSW, this is going to be our bread and butter. We all must understand, and uh, in that regards, Professor Pradhan has helped us a lot to understand the basic concept about research and writing a proposal. Thank you so much, sir. In future, we
One
will
last
also
one
we
last
will
word
take.
before we leave. See, this is simply an orientation. Not everything you might have understood, but if you work hard at your own end, I'm sure you will be able to do a good job, and you consult your own faculty members, you will do well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, good night. Good night.